Keep council updated each time the Houston Forensic Science Center makes a significant step forward. This step forward is the designation of the Technical Advisory Group. As has been noted, the board of the Houston Forensic Science Center is well, we do have a scientist, Dr. Barrera, but it is mostly business people, lawyers, academics, those who understand the justice process. It was always the intention that there be a separate technical advisory group, and it was necessary and appropriate that the technical advisory group be separate from the board, because there was a desire to be able to, once this board was identified, to be able to lean on their expertise on a pay-for-service basis. And so this has had to be handled in a two-step process. But now I'd like to recognize Chairman Hochberg to lay it out and talk about, I think you have an absolutely stellar technical advisory board. Sorry.
It really is. Thank you, Mayor, council members. Good morning. When you established our organization, as the mayor mentioned, you tasked us with gathering a group of experts to advise our board on technical issues. And that was a wise decision, and we have embraced it and put together a group of esteemed scientists to help us establish, meet, and maintain high standards of technical performance and accreditation, and advise us on new developments in rapidly changing areas in forensic science. Beyond that, we believe that this technical advisory group will answer questions for us that we might not have thought to ask. And as a board charged with oversight of such an important function, having external viewpoints come to us is very, very important. This group was recruited by a team of our board members composed of Marcia Johnson, Sandra Thompson, who is here behind me, and Dr. Barrera. And each of the scientists on this group has agreed to perform their services for us as part of the group without charge, and as a contribution to the effort that we're making here in the city of Houston to improve forensic science as a whole. They are here to meet with us today and to meet each other and to start on their work. They're going to have the opportunity to tour the lab and to get to know, for those who are not from Houston, to get to know a little bit more about what we're doing. And we appreciate the opportunity to introduce them to you here this morning. And with that, Mayor, I would like to turn the presentation over to Dr. Barrera. For those who don't know him, Dr. Enrique Barrera serves as the board's liaison to the Technical Advisory Group. He is a professor of mechanical engineering and materials science at Rice University. He brings a wealth of scientific background to the board, and so he is the perfect person to translate what the Technical Advisory Group has to say to those of us who don't speak science. And so, if I might, Dr. Barrera.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Hochberg. Mayor Parker and distinguished council members, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our Technical Advisory Group today. What I'd like to do first, if I can have the second slide, please, is tell you a little bit about the process that we used. It was an extensive process that we used to do this. Chairman Hochberg had called for a working group to be formed, and he's identified members of that working group. And the working group worked directly on forming a resolution by which we would have the operation of the tag and the governance of the tag. And so we produced in the working group a resolution that was brought to the board, and the board approved. The working group then sought names from across the state of Texas, across the country, also internationally, and then sought out information from various groups. We consulted with HPD, fellow scientists, others in the forensics community, and both nationally and internationally. And we paid special attention to resolution and guidelines for selecting these various individuals. We then collected resumes, and they were sought from each of the individuals so that we could form a short list. Based on the short list, we communicated with these individuals that we'll talk with you present to you today, and the LGC board voted on them to become members of our technical advisory group. The details on the next slide give you important areas that were part of the resolution that we felt would be necessary for a technical advisory group. And you can see that we would have both not only members of the forensics field, but those that are also non-forensics, but leaders in their own respective fields. Those that were non-forensics members would have to have an advanced degree, laboratory experience, publications in peer-reviewed articles and journals, along with relevant experience in research, methodology, statistics, and quality assurance. The forensic scientists would come from a broad area of forensics and have background experience in laboratory security, molecular biology, population genetics, forensic chemistry, biology, trace evidence, firearms and tool marks, forensic technology, and have significant representation in various boards and societies. Also, on the next slide, you'll see that it's referred to that the forensic scientists also be members of various distinguished boards and associations. So the International Association of Identification is one. The Association for Chemical Testing, American Society of Crime Lab Directors, American Academy of Forensics, and American Statistical Association, and have some representation across the tag to do that. These members come not only from Houston and Harris County areas, but from the state of Texas and across the U.S. A qualified member can actually serve as a compensated consultant if those times arise and if the board deems that necessary in our process of running of our operation. The next slide is a busy one, and so I will not touch on all of these, but I will point to you to maybe look this over, because this addresses the actual operation of the tag and various items that the board will call on them to be able to address for us in a technical manner, such as accreditation, item A, accreditation, and B, laboratory operations, for example. I'll give you some other examples in terms of L, developing review processes in instances where there has been allegation or misidentification of others. Testing error made by the LGC during its examination of evidence. M, on reports of allegations of professional negligence, misconduct, misidentification of other testing errors that occurred and providing forensic science services at the LGC. So please take a look at these, and I'll be happy to discuss some of these if you like in more detail. With that, let's go not to the next slide, but the one after, please. Thank you. The one after that. Okay. And let me introduce to you the various members of the tag. I will say that these are very distinguished members, not only in scientific fields and technical fields, but also certainly will represent forensic science across the country. I'm going to ask them to come up and stand with us.